Okay, let's see. Back to game. Make sure everything is set up and everything looks good. Okay, let's get going. Double check my another email. Oh, okay. This one's actually important. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're just not gonna get to play again for a few hours. So many people. So many people.
I just wanted them to go away. I went to go meet a friend at the park. But there wasn't anyone there. Not just my friends, but nobody. I decided to check some of the places we hung out before. I went searching for quite a while, and there was no one. No people. Cars left, parked, with no one to return to them. I couldn't find anyone. I walked for hours, maybe even days. Everywhere I went was empty spaces. Not a single person to be seen for miles around. I started to become worried, scared. I started calling out into the abyss, searching for anyone who might be around, and yet I found nothing. I started to wonder, did I cause this? Did my selfish acts put us into a position where people couldn't be? I tried to figure out if there was anything good that could come of this. And then I remembered. Wait, no people. There was time now. Finally, there was time. I had to do it.
Time to play some magic. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Knowledge Pool, a think tank of games and magic. Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths was released on Arena this week, and since my last mechanics video went over so well, I've decided to go ahead and do another one for this set, talking about what's new, what's old, and a few things that I think are going to be good from this set. But first, a quick disclaimer. I have not been in competitive Magic in ages. While I've been waiting for my memoirs to be published, Life of a Recovering Spike, I've let my speculation game become a little rusty. So, get out those pens and papers, kids, because we'll be reviewing this video in 2 years to see what I got right. Ikoria is a land of huge monsters. Creatures that the plane itself augments in order to make them harder, better, faster, and stronger.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us.
This is reflected mechanically by two new tricks: ability counters and mutate. Ability counters are exactly what they sound like. They're counters that give the thing it's on a specific ability. Flying counters for flying, first strike counters for first strike. Capiche? There's nothing inherently hard to understand about this effect, but here is the answer to a few frequently asked questions. 1. What happens if you flicker something with a counter off the board? Answer: the counter goes away. It's a counter after all. 2. Do the abilities stack? Is double flying possible with a counter? Answer: no. You can't give double flying with a sorcery or instant, so you can't give double flying with a counter. Abilities are redundant. Luminous Broodmoth is one of the cards that abuses keyword counters best. When a non-flyer you control dies while you control the Broodmoth, it comes back to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. This is highly abusable, and I can't imagine this not seeing play. Blue-white board wipes you to stabilize? No thanks, how about all the creatures? But all of the keyword counters are good, even if you're just adding more text to your questing beast. Easy peasy, GG's. Mutate, however, is a little more complicated. A creature with a mutate cost can be cast for that cost, targeting a non-human creature on the board. If it resolves, you'll either put the mutate creature over or under the creature on the battlefield. The pile becomes everything the top creature is, with all of the rules texts of the bottom cards. If there's a when this creature mutates ability, it'll do those, which could blow stuff up or draw cards, make token creatures, whatevs. That's all, really. This is the most interesting mechanic to me in Ikoria. Fusing monsters together is a fun way to change up an opponent's best laid plans, and combining cards that make amazing effects will definitely win games. Like hexproof ability on the 1/1 creature, but not the body so much. Cool. Mutated into a 3/5 with double strike. It can already attack because the creature was already out. It just got better. Remember us talking about how questing beast was gross? We can use Phoenix to give it flying too. Why not? It's good. Your opponent playing 3 Fury? No problem. The concede button is right there past the options button, and why did they make this card? Left unchecked, these when you mutate abilities can run wild, building a ton of value. By the way, if your opponent gets rid of the creature before you finish mutating, the mutate creature will resolve as a regular creature. If a mutated creature is flickered or some other way comes off of the battlefield and then back on, they come out as separate creatures, not the mutated whole. Finally, we have a returning mechanic, cycling. For people who are fairly new to the game, cycling is an ability where you pay a cost, ditch the card with cycling from your hand into the graveyard, and draw a card. An amazing boon in Limited where card draw can be scarce. Cycling also allows for decks that don't normally have draw to get some form of it in their deck. Cycling can also trigger when you draw effects, and with this set, when you cycle effects. These effects range from so-so to pretty freaking sweet. And with the second draw effects from Eldraine, the twice as nice deck actually looks kinda nice. I'm in for a pound. For rules clarification, a card is considered cycled when you ditch it for the effect. Resolve any when you cycle effects before you draw the card. Hey everybody, Dish from the future here to give you a couple more rules clarifications and to bring up a type I forgot to talk about during the video, Companion. First, let's talk about Companion. Companion cards are creature cards that have a particular rules text on them that allows them to be played from outside of the game, which in competitive Magic means out of your sideboard, as long as you fit the requirements that it puts on the card. One of the companions says that you can only use even costed cards in your starting deck. So if your entire deck is even starting cards, this card can be in your sideboard and you can play it as if it was in your hand at any time. During the rest of the match, it acts as if it was played from the regular deck. So if it dies, it goes to the graveyard. If it gets exiled, it gets thrown into exile. It never returns back to the sideboard during the game. These cards seem to be pretty powerful, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of them. Now for a quick rules clarification on Mutate that I didn't think I was going to have to talk about, but apparently I do. When you are playing a card that clones something, say Spark Double will clone the entirety of the Mutate card. That means any effects that are on the card on the top and any effects that are on the cards underneath the top card all apply to the clone. The only reason I'm bringing this up is I saw someone who is a fairly popular streamer with 1,200 people watching at the time still confused as to why this is going on. A clone copies all of the text of a card And when a card is mutated, it is all considered to be one text box. So that's why it gets the effects of everything, including any effects that say if this enters the battlefield with so many +1/+1 counters, or any of the keywords that are on it. Any enter the battlefield effects go off, because this one clone is now considered a copy of your one huge mutate creature. So, time to run down the list of things I think are going to be good this set.
Okay, everyone, there's a lot of cards to go through, so I'm going to get right to it. I might be sped up when you actually hear this, so you can find out whether or not all of these cards are worth your time. First off, Flourishing Fox and cards like it. The Cycles Matters deck, I believe, is going to play an integral part in the coming standard. Maybe something with Ominous Seas, but definitely using a lot of cycle cards to make things happen. Flourishing Fox is a good example of that, and I'm interested to see if it'll brew up some sort of Jeskai setup. I believe there will be a revamped Phoenix deck with Sprite Dragon and Riel. The Phoenix deck was just on the cusp of being Tier 1 a couple seasons ago, and I believe with the current additions of some of the cards that we saw in Ikoria, we'll definitely see a revamp of this deck play a huge role in getting aggro on the board. Luminous Broodmoth is definitely going to see play, and I'm not 100% certain in what forms, but its ability is gross, and I could even see its inclusion in Jeskai Fires. Volpkeep and aggressively costed mutates like it, I think are going to see splashed in every variant of different decks, because even though they are essentially auras, which people are worried about because of 2-for-1ing, they also create high value at a very low cost. Menace Matters cards I think are going to be huge in this next standard. Sonorous Howlbounder, Frillscale Mentor, and Labyrinth Raptor are all cards that give Menace a huge uptick, including other Rakdos cards and Albosh to polish it all off. Mythos of Aluna is going to see major standard play. It can be thrown into blue-white control as it is, but I think that anything that lets you clone target permanent is immediately good, and if you want to get the extra effect on it, why not? Voracious Great Shark is going to be a very interesting card as far as I'm concerned. Including it, there are now 3 counter creatures in Standard. This could be thrown into Simic Flash, as can Cunning Nightbonder, which would be a very interesting take on the build, where you're counting your opponent's creatures each time and then flashing in a creature later on or at that same time. I could see Mutate Reanimator becoming a thing, possibly in Sultai. Dreamtail Heron and Boneyard Lurker both give you incredible value for mutating. You might even in Barokos, that allows you to really take advantage of Barokos' ability. Archipelagore is going to be a bomb in limited, no matter what. Archipelagore is such a bomb effect, I wouldn't be surprised if it saw standard play, but it's probably just a little too expensive to get in there. Dirgebat is one of my favorite cards already, and we haven't even gotten to see it shine yet. I think it's going to see play in basically anything that plays black, because it gives you the ability to just blow up things that you don't control, which is great. I would love to see a variant of Mono Black Devotion come back where this card shines. Luca and Vivian are both going to see play. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Their abilities are really, really good. They're almost pushed to the point where I feel like you could really abuse them. But Vivian and Luca both have slots in decks that already exist. We could get back into Green Stompy with Vivian around, and I think that along with the Mutate cards, these are really cool effects. I think Companions in general are going to see huge amounts of play. We've already kind of seen it in the first couple days of people using Garuda to just gain value, just huge amounts of value, but Lurrus, Zerda, Obosh, all of these companions are really good and very easy to build decks around within the confines of Standard. I don't think this new Narset is super good, but I can see a Fire Friends variant resurging, using this new Narset as part of the Destruction variant. Finally, I think Crystalline Giant is just a really cool card. It's going to be great in Limited, and if people can figure out a way to really take advantage of him in Standard, they absolutely will.
Excuse me, that hurt a little more than I thought it would. Anyway, that's what I think. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking things out. We appreciate all of your feedback here and all the things that you guys do for the channel. Again, I've been Dish, and everybody out of the pool.
White shirt, now bet my bloody nose sleeping. You're on your tippy toes, creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. So you're a tough guy, like a really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh.